Well, this time I'm going to look at a piece of junk that's going to go out in the bin unless somebody wants it. If someone wants it, they better speak up quick, because this thing's not going to be sticking around long. It's a slide projector by Bell & Howell called a Bell & Howell Slide Cube. We're going to tear this thing down and see why it doesn't work. This is a Bell & Howell Slide Cube. I don't think that that's supposed to open like that. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. The cabinet's broken. This is an old school slide projector, it looks like. I've never seen one of these personally. So let's just take a look at this thing and see how it works, or if it works. It was given to me, so I'm just checking it out before I get rid of it. This is an old projector that people would have played their old slides on. I don't even know how this thing works. Preview, edit. What the heck's that for? Is that for... I don't even know how this thing works. It's... I was going to say it's before my time, but it wasn't before my time. But the one that we had was completely different. It took these big long slide trays that went through the machine. I take it this one used special little cubes. Either that or you put the slides right in here directly. That is what I don't know how this thing works. On the side here there's a panel opens up and it has the power cord down here. And this does not have a lamp on it, so I won't be able to test it. And I'm just going to get rid of it to see if it turns on first of all. Plug it in. That part works. I see there's a light in here that's lighting up. What that light is for, that I don't know, because the main lamp goes on this side and there isn't one. It says use CB8 lamp only. I don't know if I've got a CB8 lamp, but even if I did, I wouldn't put one in because those bulbs are bloody bright and bloody expensive and they don't last very long. But it needs a lamp, that's for sure. Got a couple of lenses. This is preview. Oh, you know what that's for? The light would shine through here, and you could put your slides. You could set your slides on here to look at them before you put them in. So this would light up. If I were to shine a flashlight in here, you'll see what's going to happen. You can see that there's a light path here. If my flashlight were to shine in here, you'll see that will light up. Because the lamp would be shining through here, the lamp shining up like that, and as you can see, it'll light this up. So that's what that's for. That's a preview glass so that you can hold your slide up and look at it before you loaded it in the tray. These things use like a 500 watt lamp. So it uses a slide cube type tray, which I don't have. This has got an autofocus mechanism on it. So that must be what this little light down here that's lighting up is for. That's got to be part of the autofocus, and there's a little motor. There's a transistor on the back here as well. I see a hinge on this. What does this do? I see a hinge right here. Like something's supposed to flip open. Does that release? There we go. Okay. So that's how that works. That opens up like that. There's a mirror here on the bottom. And I guess that's what the elevate control adjusts. Okay, so that moves the lens. You see this? That moves the lens up and down so you can elevate it up onto your screen. And it does that by, there's a mirror down here, so the slides themselves, they are brought in. I take it this thing rotates, what it does. If I plug the cord in, there's a cord here. If I plug the cord into it, it can probably operate the mechanism. So you guys can see how that part works. I think that goes in on this side. Got a button. And when you push the button, it'll activate the mechanism. It should activate the mechanism. Should and would are different things. And that's not working. But I get the suspicion is what this does is this rotates and moves the slides into position. It's probably broken. I think this is supposed to rotate though when you push the button. This is supposed to turn, and this would rotate to take your slide from here and move it around. And you got a preview here for what's coming up. Right? That says it says preview edit, so you can see which slide was going to go into place next. I might be completely off base on this thing. As I say, I've never seen one before. All the ones that I've seen before were like the Kodak Carousel and the Argus, which is what we had. We had the Argus, which used the straight trays. The switch doesn't appear to do anything when I push it, so maybe the switch has got a problem. Well, we'll just try just shorting. I'll just put a plug in there. We'll try just shorting it and see what happens. Because I mean, that's all it's going to do is it's just going to short when the button's pushed. Aha! So that's what it does. I wonder how much voltage is on there. There's probably 110 volts. I'm sticking my fingers on there. I bet you it's line voltage that's on this stupid thing. I'm sticking my fingers in there. What do we got on here? They didn't practice safety back then. How many volts? Is it AC or DC? 15 volts. Okay, so it's not high voltage. It's just low voltage. But that's what it does. Now that's supposed to turn. Does it turn when the? It doesn't. But it does activate a solenoid that that closes the shutter over here, as you can see, and then this should spin around. That's what it should do. So probably a belt that's broken. It does that. This starts to spin. And then when it gets to the next one, this is what opens up the shutter. So when you push the button, it starts to turn. And then when the next slide gets into place, and each slide moves into the preview, so you can look down and you can see what the next slide is going to be when it's doing this. So when you hit the advance button, it moves into the next one. Next slide is in. And as they go through, the spring here would lift this up one at a time. You'd start out down here, and it would lift up every time it went down. Every time it went around, it would lift up and push a new slide into position. I guess that's how it works. The spring looks to be pretty bad too. That moves like that. I'm just looking to see if there's a cog in there that moves. I don't see anything in here that moves. It's got to be a cog in here that moves to turn this up one step at a time, I would think, because you can go forward and reverse. Anyway, now we know how it works. Closes the shutter, moves the next slide in, and opens it. But there's going to be a belt, I'm sure, that's broken, that controls this. Maybe we can take this apart and see if there's something that can be done to make that part work. I'm sure this comes apart. I think there's some screws that go down through the top here and hold the mechanism in place. Yeah, right down through here. Yeah, there's four Phillips screws. Also, this little plastic piece is broken. That might play a role. That might be what lifts up the slide tray. I have a sneaking suspicion that probably sticks out through the slot here, and that is what lifts the slide tray up. So this thing here is probably junk and will never work, and will be going to recycling. So I figured I'll just take it all apart and show you guys a little bit of history from the old days of looking at slides. Oh, what the heck, maybe I'll just put it up free. Put it up on Facebook Marketplace, free slide cube. Someone might want it for parts, or someone might want it to restore. I mean, the cost of the light bulb on this thing here would be prohibitive anyway. That old brownie projector that I've got, that I showed off a while back, I rented that out to one of my neighbors who wanted to look at some films, and he blew the bulb. At least he gave me $50 to rent the thing for 2 weeks. When he had it, he blew the bulb. He was going to replace the bulb until he found out that a replacement light bulb was $175. So then he just gave it back to me with a blown bulb. Oh, there's the side here. So here's the mechanism. There's a motor in here. I guess there's probably a belt or a gear or something on here that drives it. But probably should unplug this unit while I'm working on it. It's a belt or a gear drive that turns it. It's probably a belt drive between this little motor and the actual mechanism. And see if I can see where that little lever that appears to be broken goes. I'm thinking it probably goes inside here somewhere to raise up the slide tray. Fan. So the side covers are off. There we go. lift off. Something holding it up still. A wire is caught. Alright, there's the inside of this unit. There's a little switch here. We imagine that that switch probably is what's going to tell the motor to shut off once it finishes its operation. It's probably activated from that, which it is. So as the tray is rotating, that keeps power applied to the motor. And then when it drops, when it gets into position, that switch releases and this motor should stop. Let's just see whether it moves. Let's turn on the power again. See if that gear starts spinning. There's a gear on the bottom of this unit. Okay, so we got power. Okay, this gear is spinning. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but this gear is turning. But it's not turning the tray. It's above it. Can you guys see the gear spinning? It's not. Whoops! It's not spinning the. It's not spinning this tray. This tray should be turning now. So I guess that means we need to remove the tray here and see why it's not spinning. Take out the good old Jesus clip and lift this out and see what's going on under here. Oh, well that would explain why it's not turning. It looks like the gear is sheared right off on the underside here. Looks like the teeth are missing. Let's just turn this by hand. The gear that spins it is shot, like everything else. See, the teeth are missing off of this thing. That's why it doesn't turn. So it's never going to turn. This thing is toast. I don't know where this piece came from. It's obviously broken off of something. That piece is off of something. I have a sneaking suspicion that's what operates this, moves that up and down. But anyway, yeah, this thing's trash. It's garbage. It's not going to get fixed. Can't be fixed because, well, there's a gear that's, well, I guess if someone wanted to manufacture a gear, they could go to the trouble of doing it, but I guess this probably kicks the slides up one at a time. Anyway, I'm going to throw this thing back together. Oh, these are all sheared off too. That used to be glued down, it looks like. Yeah, that used to be glued down there, but it's come off. Anyway, I'm going to throw this thing back together. This unit is shot, and oops, goes in this way. It's toast, as they say. Let's throw the pieces back together and throw the screws back in it and get this thing as far away from this place as I can. Off to recycling it goes. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed a look into one of these old slide cubes. You know what that's for? Slide selector.